And we're live. Yay. Y'all are quiet. Suspiciously so.
Hi.
Hey. I mean, normally we do the intro before any of us talk.
I know, but it was just like, I gave y'all a chance to be like, hey, like to celebrate because we always do the same thing. We're live, yay! And I was like, there's no yays. Like, it's not right. But anyway.
Get a good cackle on that one. My bad, guys.
Welcome to Black Pros Podcast, where Black lives, Black voices, and Black stories have always mattered. Tonight, I am your host. My name is Oshale of Oshi Reads here on YouTube, Instagram, and Oshale_OJ on that bird app. What is it? Twitter.
Twitter, not the bird app.
The bird app.
Let's see. I'm Brittany, aka Melanin Eclectic, on all platforms, including my standalone site. Which, if you want to check out some new stuff that's happening, I highly suggest you go to my other Instagram, which is Shop Melanin Eclectic, because we got some goodies.
Woo!
Hey y'all, I'm Troy Nicole. I wish I was as cool as Brittany and had everything the same name, but I do not. So I am Inkflare Studio here on YouTube, and I am Bookish Waffler on Instagram and Bookish Inkflare on Twitter.
You said Twitter's so quiet.
I said what?
You were like, Twitter.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
That must be my mic because I'm actually talking kind of loud.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to tonight's podcast, y'all. Tonight is very, very gonna, whoa, words, they're not gonna come. Tonight is gonna be very interesting because we are discussing friendship, and we're discussing friendship in fiction and in real life. Just the importance of healthy, non-toxic depictions of friendship, especially between female-identified people. It's not depicted enough in novels, in a lot of genres, particularly like young adult or even the new adult genres or even fantasy. And it's not easy to come by in real life. So we kind of wanted to dive deep into that, discuss our own experiences with friendships, bookish friendships that we like, books where it would have been better if there had been stronger depictions of friendship and less, I don't know, maybe say romance, I guess Brittany would say. So yes, let us get started. But before we do, I just want to take advantage of the fact that we don't have to worry about monetization right now.
Oh my God.
Play a little intro song for y'all. Do y'all know what I'm about to play?
Ooh, what are you about to play? I'm excited.
Okay, hold on. Let's play it. Hopefully it actually plays.
I am over this live already.
Right. We're not monetized for a reason at this rate.
Right? I haven't gotten to the meet of the song, so write in the comments if you know what song this is. Hey, Abominable. Oh my gosh, we already said it. That was good. I was like, dang, we haven't even got to the lyrics.
Listen, What About Your Friends is a classic that I didn't even understand until I got older and realized that trash people in this world aren't supposed to be your friends.
Damn. Okay, we're starting off strong.
I mean, we already not ever gonna make this video monetized because you played like more than 6 seconds of a song.
Way more than 6.
I'm so sorry. We can go back in the YouTube editor and take it out.
Who cares?
Right.
I was like, that was that's one of the perks of not having to worry about strikes and monetization. So we can have music on here for a little while.
We do need to get an intro and like an outro for this podcast though. Like I'm gonna work on that one of these days. But so I have a question. Well, actually, no. First, before we talk about friendships in real life and in fiction, can we talk about the need of having friendships to cry and bitch and moan instead of putting it on Twitter and ruining your whole career as a debut author?
Oh my God. Brittany is in a mood. Yes, there's always some sort of book Twitter drama. And, today did not disappoint. And we're not going to go into the particulars of what occurred. But essentially, I 100% believe, and we've all talked about this before, and I think, Troy, you said it in the group chat. Where are these authors' friends? Like, you need a group chat with other author friends. Like, you need to find other writer friends, author friends that you can vent to, because Twitter is not it. Like, Twitter is not the place for you to air your grievances and issues when you take things so personally and you like twist the story to favor you and to make you look good, and you're being problematic and somewhat racist, at least with the most prejudice in doing so. Like, I have so many thoughts.
I just feel like, how many times have we said on this podcast, on this live, like, Twitter is not your diary. Like, call your friends, call your family. Like, we all feel like I can go on the internet with your whole chest and be hella wrong. And then when you get called out, now it's, I've got to take a break from my mental health. Where was your mental health when you started this?
Where was it?
And yes, Tati, the whole internet, not just Twitter, the whole internet.
No, internet
needs to be your diary. None of them.
No.
Like, make a blog, make a personal blog with your name change or something. If you feel like you cannot put it anywhere else but on the internet, make a secret blog. Because I'm just like, when I have a grievance about something, even if it's something that I see online, I go to y'all. I call my sisters. I'm like, what? Help, make it make sense. Why is this on Twitter? And then why was you so wrong on Twitter? Where's your publicist? He's got to be mad at you right now.
Yeah, I am sure this person's publicist and agent was like, wow, way to work against me. What I'm trying to do.
Way to work against me.
Like, why would you do this?
It's like, at this point, like, I want to get a shirt that goes, did you call your mom first? Because, like, I mean, and I probably won't say mom. I'll just put, did you call someone first?
Yes.
Because I'm about 1,000% certain half the crap that we see on Twitter from people basically eating their own words or just being stupid asshats is they just needed to call somebody so they could be like, you're actually wrong. Calm down. Like, be fine. You'll be fine. It's okay if somebody doesn't like your work as long as they do everything else that they said they were going to do, which they did. That was the other thing. I was like, they made it seem like this. First of all, I'm going to say her name. I think it's Fadwa. Okay. She did everything she was supposed to do. And I'm going to say her name because the author was disrespectful as fuck. Even in that apology, I apologize to the blogger. Nah, sis, say it with your chest.
Yes.
How many times do we have to reference Neek's video? If you have not checked out Neek's channel, go to Neek's channel, and there is a video that talks about how to apologize. Please watch that video and memorize it for future reference. Like, it's a whole video. It's like, why do we keep doing this?
I don't even understand how, at this point, we have seen so many authors, even authors who are more established, widely known, and, decorated in terms of accolades. They have said things and they've put their foot in their mouth. I remember that whole debacle last year with Sarah Dessen feeling herself and all her other friends coming to her defense and making themselves look like idiots as well. And it's just like, I've never looked at her the same way since.
Right.
She was one of my favorite authors from when I was growing up. I loved her books as a teenager, and that tarnished her reputation in my eyes in certain ways. And the authors that came to her defense were Black female authors I really respected and looked up to. And I was kind of giving them the side eye, like, what is happening right now? So I just feel like we have seen well-established authors have their reputations maybe not destroyed because they are more well-established. So it would take a lot more to completely destroy their reputation. But they definitely have taken some hits, and they're not really looked at in the same way for things that they've rushed to say on Twitter. So why would you, as an author, none of us have heard about, no disrespect to you.
Disrespect intended, I'm sorry.
Or your book, you're brand new to the game, you're new, you're starting out. Why would you do this? at the beginning of your career, because now, again, no disrespect to you personally, but I have no interest in reading your book now. Like, I'm just kind of like, won't be reading that one.
I mean, it's like I never heard of you, and sadly, the first time I heard of you is you being on Twitter. Like, come on. I don't know, because it correlates to, I'm going to say authors are regular people, but for some reason on book Twitter, we put them on a pedestal that they don't belong on. So regular book Twitter also does the same thing, where they put out their, it's like, I've never thought to look at Twitter and put my deepest, darkest secrets on there.
No.
My insecurities, my pains.
No.
I see no reason to put that on Twitter. These are a bunch of strangers who don't care about you, who literally will be by your side telling you you're great, and then the very next tweet telling you you're a despicable human being because of what somebody else said about you.
Right.
Like,
wild.
Friends, guys. Friends. You know why friends are important? We wouldn't have this live if all of y'all had friends.
This is fact. This is fact. And do we want to talk about friendship depictions in, I feel like we should start with real life and round out with fiction. And, maybe at the end talk about some of our favorite books that depict, really great female friendships or just friendships in general. And then maybe books that we wish had, depicted the friendships more and maybe focus more on that than on some of the other relationships.
Yeah, I agree with that. Who wants to start though? Because,
I would just like to say that I think Justin takes offense to it.
Justin, we're your friends, so like it's fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. Let us begin. So, what I really wanted to focus on with the friendship thing is how, no matter how old we get, we still go through this struggle of trying to find real friends and good friends, and friends who are really going to have our back and be there for us in the good times, in the bad times, and more importantly, friends who are going to give us the type of love that we give them. It's, you think as you get older, this will be something that I'll only have to go through in like, miserable years in like primary, elementary school, middle school, high school, like, okay, college, I found my core group, like I will be good. But we just find that even as we grow older, like you just never stop going through like friendship things, and it just continues on, and it just never really, there's like no end point to it. It's an ongoing like journey for life, which has surprised me actually.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are pastors, so obviously this will have like a godly aspect to it. But my parents have always preached that like everybody that you meet in your life serves a purpose. The longevity of the person in your life depends on their purpose. So people you think you meet and it'd be like, oh my gosh, we're totally friends. No. That person could literally be like a tiny branch on the end of a tree that falls off every season and comes back when it grows back out again. Like, you have to really stop using the word friend for everyone that you just meet and get along with. Friends should be as valuable and as cherished as romantic love. It should be just as cherished because that platonic love and that platonic relationship can sometimes be a stronger presentation of love than romantic love. Which I know I talk all the time.
I 100% agree. Like, I remember when I had my very first falling out with a best friend, and it was like someone that I truly was close with, like a true best friend. And it was in college, and it was after my freshman year of college. And I remember being so devastated, and it was honestly worse than any breakup I'd ever experienced with a boy up to that point. I was like 18, 19. Mm-hmm. And I considered this person like a sister to me. So the situation was so devastating that I honestly went through like a grieving process like you would for a breakup with a romantic partner. I remember crying. I remember just like being, down in my room. I remember, eating my feelings, like all of the emotions going through, like being angry, being sad, being depressed. trying to reach out to this person, trying to figure out what to do. Like, it was all of the same emotions that of grief, basically. And that has always stayed with me. But I mean, a lot of things in that relationship were not healthy, which we definitely want to talk about healthy friendships, because that was a very codependent friendship, which was not healthy for either of us. So it's actually good that it ended. But I just remember that, and that has always stayed with me, like how devastated I was.
Right. Troy, you want to go next?
Okay. It's funny. I actually had the first friendship breakup around the same age. I think I was 19 because it was my freshman year of college, and this person was like, I known her since we were like, I want to say 12 years old. And funny enough, I mean, I think this is what really made me realize that I was just like, okay, maybe I really did not mess with this girl as much as I thought I did, because I was not hurt when I dropped her, like at all. Like, I didn't cry. I just kind of felt numb to the situation, because it was like so many things started adding up to a place where I was just like, why am I friends with this person? And it was like, and I think it's also good to mention that this person was not bad. Like, she wasn't a horrible person. She wasn't like vindictive. She wasn't super toxic or anything. But it was like low key aggressions that I felt towards her that I was just like, do you like, because she straight up told me one day, it was like this, our senior year of high school, and we were going job hunting. And earlier that day, this girl that was a mutual friend of ours, but not very close to her, had told me something about her that I had never heard before. And not only did she tell me, she told our whole science group, people who were not really friends with my friend. And so I went back to her and I was just like, hey, so-and-so is like running her mouth about all this stuff. Is that even true? And she was just like, yeah, it is. I was like, well, like, you told this person that she's like running her mouth. And she was just like, oh, it's okay, I guess. And I was just like, well, why would you tell her and not tell me? Because like, we're best friends. You tell people that I'm like your sister and all this other stuff. And she tells me in this store, she's like, oh, well, you're really judgy. And I was like,
oh my goodness.
Let me tell you for context what the situation was. It was that she was telling me I was going to be judgy about her having a sexual relationship with her boyfriend. I was just like, no,
wait, what?
I swear to God, guys. I swear to God. I was like, why the hell would I care about that? What did that have to do with me?
What?
She said I was going to judge her. And then she told this white girl who went and ran her mouth to all these people and was telling her all their sexcapades. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna wash my hands of that. So I ignored it. And then her boyfriend and I were cool, and he had made a joke about something about one of their sexcapades. And in front of me, she hit him, kind of like, don't say nothing in front of her. And he was confused because he's like, but she's your bestie, she's your ride or die. Like, you guys literally spend every waking moment together. And so I remember talking to one of my other friends in our group. I was just like, I'm not tripping, right? Like, I should be offended. Like,
wow.
Because then my question is, if you don't trust me, even for something so small as that, in my eyes, I shouldn't trust you.
Right.
How do I know if I'm telling you something, you're not just mirroring how you are to me with what you think I'm doing to you? Because I honestly, it would have never occurred to me. And what's really funny is that white girl was not the only person that would run their mouths about her sexcapades. We had another friend who would run her mouth about her sexcapades. Our whole little group knew all about it. I was just like, listen, wow. I am not the one you need to worry about. But anyway, it kind of came to a head my freshman year of college because she invited me to the beach with her and her boyfriend. I was like, oh, I don't really want to be, I don't really want to be a third wheel. That'll be awkward. I don't want to sit next to your guys when you guys are making out and stuff like that. Like, I'll just, because it would be one thing if they like included me in it, but couples can tend to like be in their own little bubble. And I was like, hit me up if one of our other friends come. And she was like, oh no, none of our friends are coming, right? And so then it turned into our whole group in high school going, minus me. And she never hit me up. And I was just like,
What?
okay, I am not stupid. And that's why I said, like, I don't think this person is malicious. Like, I 100% don't think she's malicious. Like, I even tell people when they ask me, like, are we still friends? I'm just like, no, we're not still friends. But it's not like if I see her, it's like on sight or nothing like that. Like, on either of our sides. Like, we have a mutual knowledge that we are not cool, that will probably never be cool anymore. But I also think that there are friendships that just run its course. Like, you know, like, it may not be particularly that she was super toxic or she was super mean to me, or that she, you know, talked behind my back and did stuff behind my back. It could just be that you guys were friends for a long time, and then, you know, you realize you were my friend for this reason at this time, but I see no reason of taking you forward, you know, and I just didn't see a reason of taking her forward in my life if there was a mutual distrust. Like, if you didn't trust me and I can't sit here and say, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I've never done anything untrustworthy, because I don't know. Like, maybe I did slip up and say something judgmental to her and I just don't remember. She never confronted me about it, and she never gave me any examples of what I did. So I don't know. But if I wasn't a person that she could trust, then she had every reason to walk away, just as much as if I didn't trust her, then I should have walked away. But when I decided to remove myself from the friendship, I actually felt a lot of relief. Like, it felt like this burden had gotten off of me, because I just think that, you know, sometimes friendships can be really exhausting, and you have to put yourself in a position where you're like, okay, this person means a lot to me. Like, I care about this person. Like, I will always care about this person, but I have to remove myself from my own mental health, because I'm not doing mental gymnastics with you. I'm not going to hear this from one person and this from the next person about you, and you're sitting here like in a literal hipster store telling me that I'm untrustworthy. Like, you know, it's just like, it wasn't a healthy relationship in that aspect. And I just like removed myself from that situation. But I'm kind of glad I did, because after we had our little thing, my whole group of friends dropped me.
What?
What?
Are you serious?
The one I told you guys talked me into being in this book club is the only one. And what's so funny is only one other girl aside from me and Dooney are still in conversation with each other. And her and Dooney went out for drinks one day, and she was telling us all these lies that these girls were feeding her that made Dooney and her have a falling out.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, this whole group of friends were just like such shitholes. Like, it was like all of a sudden, like, you know, all this stuff started coming out, and me and Dooney were just like, I can't even feel bad, because like all this stuff started coming out, and then we started like talking amongst each other, and we started realizing the people that quote unquote dropped us are the same people who was telling everyone's business. Everyone knew everyone's business except for me and Dooney, because we're the type of people who are just like, like, you know, if I hear you telling somebody else's business, chances are
You telling my business?
So I'm not gonna tell you anything. But yeah, it was just like all this stuff that like we found out like freshman year of college, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, you know, it was. And I think a lot of it had to do with, I think we said this in our group chat when we talked about talking about this, is that when you're young, a lot of times you want this big, giant friend group. And I did want that. And I did have that in high school. But I realized there were so many of us that it just, like, logically speaking, it had to come to a spearhead at some point.
Right.
There was just too many. Like, it was too many differing views. There's too many people in it. I think there was like 8 or 9 of us. And it was just like, we tried to keep this friend group that we had since middle school into high school. And it just didn't work like that. You know, like, we didn't realize that just because we knew each other then does not mean we had to keep that in the future. You know, and I think that was a big problem for us. Honestly, I think us breaking up as a group and not speaking anymore did us a service, because all of us are, you know, thriving in whatever we're doing. And I don't wish anything bad upon any of them, because like I said, none of them were like evil people. Like, you know, I've never had a truly like horrible friend that I sit here could say that I wish ill will upon, because I just don't. But I do think that friendships can end without there being toxic situations, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, without animosity. It's interesting too, because, you know, your experience with that friend group brings to mind several things for me. The first thing is that, especially at such a young age, because a lot of us go through our friendship, um, traumas and hurts and negative experiences with friends, breaking up with friends, falling out with friends, things like that when we're young. That transition from like elementary to middle to high school and even into college. And it makes me think about how people can only love you and care for you as much as they love and care for themselves. And when you have people who are struggling with self-esteem issues, struggling with jealousy issues, struggling, like God knows what they're going through at home, like all of these things, they can only love you as much as they love them and care for themselves. And everyone's definition, this is something that I learned. I would say I probably learned it in college, after some situations with people. Not everyone's definition of friendship is the same. And you have to find people who have the same definition of you or who are going to be on the same page as you. Because I remember in particular, I would have some friends, girlfriends who would be like, oh, you're my best friend, you're my best friend, you're my best friend. And I really had to sit, my actual best friend, we sat down and we broke down the definition of that. And we realized that a best friend is a friend who is the best to you. People like to say, oh, my best friend, like I've known them X amount of time. We go way back, like we do everything together, or like we're in, all our same classes. We cheer together. We do this. We play this together. We were in this sorority together. Like this, my ride or die. And when you have to sit and think about it, are you best friends because of how long you've been friends? Is it nostalgia? Is it because you have very similar schedules and interests? Is it, you are in the same space in life? Is it proximity? Is it convenience? And when you sit down and think about it, calling someone a best friend, that is the person that is the best friend to you. They are there for you. They have your back. They listen to you. They don't judge you. You can go to them. If it's 2:00 in the morning and you haven't spoken to them in a month and something's going wrong, you can call them. They'll have your back. Like that is a best friend. When you think about all the qualities of a friend, of a good friend, and if that person is showing those qualities to you, obviously it should be reciprocated and you should be doing the same. To me, that is a best friend, not necessarily because of memories or how long y'all know each other or nostalgia, or because they're always available to go to the club with you, or they're always available to go to dinner or brunch, or, because they live down the street or they live 2 floors up. Like that's not a good enough reason. And like proximity, convenience, all of these things are nice. I feel like a lot of people don't like to be alone, and that's understandable. Oof. But when you really think about a friend and a best friend, like who actually treats you well and it's not codependent or toxic. And now that's like my standard. So sometimes when I'm friends with people and they're like, oh, you're my best friend, you're my close friends, I recognize that to them, it's because of the way I treat them. That doesn't necessarily mean they give me the same treatment back. It's kind of like weird sometimes because you kind of have to go into friendships. Now, I don't want to say with no expectations, but if you go in with your eyes open and you really treat someone well and they don't give you the same in return, you have to make a decision. Either you're going to remove yourself from the situation or you're just going to continue to be their friend and keep them at a distance and acknowledge that they are just not a good friend.
Also, I think this is a perfect moment because I get questions a lot like, why are you so obsessed with like friendships? Like, how I always go into rants about how we didn't need a romantic love. This is a perfect example of why. Think about it like this. How many romantic relationships have you been in where you had the same friend get you through all of them? How many times have you been in a situation where you felt like you were alone and that one friend came through and got you together or sat with you while you cried or bought you chocolate chip cookie dough? Because let's be real, friends who eat together stay together. There's this idea that somehow, especially as adults, because especially like on Twitter and people are always like, oh, it's so hard to make friends as adults. It's so difficult. Like I'm so alone. And it's because we've been working on this idea that a friend comes in a situational type sense rather than a friend that you're actually willing to share your life with. Relationships with friends form deeper connections than like most romantic relationships. We share more stuff with our friends than we do in our romantic relationships. We tell our friends about our romantic relationships. So
yes,
if I call you a friend, that means something to me. I don't call everybody friend. You real quick to be called an associate though. I have associates. And that doesn't mean that they're not good people. It just means that I understand that not everybody is meant to be on a friend level. I talk to a bunch of people that I do not consider my friend. I consider them an associate. I don't look at them and think when shit's about to hit the fan, I can call on them. If you can't call on them, they are not your friend. They are an associate. So don't tell them all your business. Don't tell them all your business is like the number one thing of all time. Not everybody is meant to be on the same playing field. There are people that you can consider your friend today that will screenshot your conversation and put it on Twitter tomorrow.
Woo!
That's a word.
That's not a friend. That's an associate who shared an interest with you.
You know, that is absolutely correct because you are, I don't need to add anything to that. That's 100% correct.
My dad actually, it's funny Brittany said that because when I was growing up, my dad would always tell us, like, we would always say, Daddy's super friendly. And he said, I don't have friends, I have associates. And we were just like, you have lots of friends. He's like, no. I want you to sit right there and count on your hands my 5 real true friends. And I thought about it, and my dad has had these same 5 friends that I consider like my uncles, and that's it. Everybody else are just people in the background, or just people that he's cool with, that he may go get drinks with, he may talk sports with. But I was like, dang, there's really only 5 people that I know for a fact my dad wouldn't mind me jumping in the car with. My dad wouldn't mind, calling me like, hey, can you pick up my kids from school? That is it. Just 5. And maybe not 5.
That's what I have of my childhood. Moving around and stuff, it was difficult for me to keep certain friendships, but I did keep 3. Of the 3 now, I have 1. In college, I had plenty of acquaintances. I came out of college with 3 girlfriends. These 3 girlfriends will more than likely be the godmothers to my children if I ever had any, which won't happen. But if I did, they would be the godmothers of my children because they are still the people when I'm having an anxiety attack or when I'm having a point where I need somebody to tell me to calm down, other than my family, I call them first. And then I've been forming relationships with book people now, and I can trust the 2 people that I'm on this live with wholeheartedly, but I'm still learning, like, who can I really consider a friend? Who can I really consider associates? Because as hard as it is to make friends as an adult, it's 3 times as easy to make an enemy. So it's like, you got to sit here and really evaluate, what are you looking for? What kind of support system are you trying to create? Are you talking to people who you guys like? Okay, for example, oh my God, Justin, I can't. I'm trying to be serious and y'all are just taking me out that zone. But I'm trying to say, like, as an adult, we have different types of needs. Obviously, there are romantic sexual needs because that's basic human biology. But in terms of connections, human beings, especially in their adult life, seek intimacy.
Yes.
Intimacy is not always sexual. Intimacy is about the connection that you build with a person. So you can't build intimacy with everybody.
No.
You're definitely not going to build intimacy with Twitter. Just not going to happen. It's like
not with the screenshots that be showing up on there.
Listen, I have seen people share intimate, insecure things on Twitter, and I just want to be like, baby, no. People don't care. What are you doing?
Yeah, you can't. It almost, being from an older generation, because I will admit the people that share the intimate things are much younger than me. And when I see these tweets, I literally cringe on the inside and I have secondhand embarrassment for these people. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, why would you share that on the internet? This is not
Right.
safe at all. This is not a safe space for this. Um, I don't want to harp too much on it, but a lot of people need therapy.
Oh, that's a whole other live.
It is.
But you know what I also realized is that something I had to learn growing up is that your friends may or may not grow at the same speed as you, like maturity, because I wish I could tell you guys how many people have literally like stopped talking to me for months because I'll be like, oh no, I have to watch my nephew. Oh no, I have to watch my godson. I had a girl once tell me, why do you always watch your nephew? He's not your kid.
Oh.
Wow. Family.
I was like, hold up. I literally sent back, let me tell you something. The day my sister is in need of a babysitter because she has to go to work, her and her baby's father, and I tell her, nah, I'm good, is the day hell freezes over. Because I was just like, and you know what? I was just like, I realized that I have a lot of friends in my past that, were only children, or they, weren't super close to their siblings. And y'all know I'm super close to my 4 siblings.
Yeah.
As much as they irritate my soul, I will drop anything for them. But also though, I've had friends tell me, oh, like, you're the only friend that'll come and chill with me and my kid. I'm just like, what? And then I have some friends that, I'm like, girl, that's not your friend if they don't want to be around your kid.
Facts. Discussion.
Yes.
What do you mean they don't want to be around your child?
Your child should come first in your life. And if a friend cannot understand that and make concessions to come be with you and your child so that they can see you, that's ridiculous. That's trash.
I've had quite a few people tell me, girl, you're always watching your godson. And I'm just like, and I'm going to continue always watching my godson, baby. What the hell?
I just don't understand the concept here. Oh, but that brings up a very important thing. The reason why you have more associates and acquaintances rather than a whole plethora of friends is because you cannot grow as a person if you're constantly surrounded by people who are not growing with you. So if your friendship circle has gotten smaller throughout the years, pat yourself on the back. That means you're doing some growing that other people cannot get with.
Yes.
Leave all of them behind. Like, your life is so much more enriching when you have a smaller group of people that you can connect with on an intimate level. And no, intimate does not mean calling them and just emotionally dumping on them, because that's a whole other live. We don't emotionally dump all the time. We still respect their humanity and their mental space as well. But ask yourself, with the friends that you have, do you feel safe with them? Like, genuinely safe. If you put a concern to your friend, is your friend going to basically tell you tough shits?
Right.
Is your friend going to actually listen to you and hear what you're saying and be ready to whoop somebody's ass if necessary? Not saying violence is the answer, but I can personally say there have been multiple times where I was like, Molly whopping a hoe sounds really good right now. My friend telling me something.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Are they really your friends if they won't tell you wrong?
Oh,
that outfit don't match.
Wow.
Your is off. Your hair isn't looking good.
I told you ashy.
Let me
Your
tell you
face front ain't laid down.
If I ever go out and my friend knows that I don't look at my top of my game and I'm looking busted, I'm gonna feel some type of way, because I'm the type of person, y'all know, I told y'all my childhood best friend, when she walks to my house, I'll be like, hey, what's up, Pharrell? And she'll be like,
wow.
She'll be like, stop. I'm just like, you look like Pharrell. I mean, the beanie, you short, the joggers, you look.
Wow.
I swear to God, she ain't never come back with them joggers.
But honestly, no. I see people that be like, and they be like, people on here with looking casket ready on Instagram. I'll be like, where are your friends? Where are they? Because I remember one time my makeup smeared onto like the bottom part of my mouth, and my sister straight texted me like, "Oh, so we just out here looking ratch."
Wow.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, where your friends? Are you ashy on the gram?
Yes.
Unless you be out there looking ashy on the gram. Like, I have told friends, like, yo, you out here thirst trapping. I meant it with my whole chest, but it's still funny.
That's like our group chat every time Oshale posts.
Whatever. Anytime Troy posts a picture like, oh, I'm losing weight, I'd be like, oh, she likes it thirst trapping.
Oh my God. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Like, if you can't have an open line of communication with a friend, if it's always like mental gymnastics and you're like, what are they trying to say? And it's all these subliminals, whether it be on the Bird app or in real life, and you're trying to figure out, everything's very passive aggressive. Everything's very like, you're like, what is going on? Yeah, that's not good.
Right. I'm like, first of all, that sounds exhausting. Like, I do that enough with strangers because I'm not allowed to drag anybody on social media for the sake of this book club. So it gets really difficult. So I drag them to Oshale and Troy.
Yeah.
Basically.
I feel like that's me and Brittany's go-to thing in the group chat though.
Yeah. I really need to vent about this person that's aggravating me. Let me drag them here so I can like go back and be a decent human.
Oh my God. It's true, though.
Here's the next question though. How, this is the thing I see on Twitter a lot. A lot of adults saying that they struggle with finding friends. How did you find adult friends in your adult life?
That's a good one. Honestly, I am that type of person that I lean a lot on my faith on this one. And I fully believe that God brings people into your life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. Not to, repeat that cheesy quote. But I do think it's true. And all of my best friends that I have now, I can literally count on 1.5 hands. And I feel like y'all two tipped me over to the next hand. But I love y'all. But I feel that these individuals came into my life at a specific time. And this is another thing with friendship, you have to give it time, just like any other relationship. Like, I see people clinging to people after 1 to 2 months, 3 months, being like, it's my bestie. I'm like, you got to go through a full calendar year with a person to really fully see their character and, be in different situations with them and things like that. And even then, like, people don't even show their true colors until like years down the line. So I feel like the friends that I have now have been the ones that have stuck it out with me. Loyalty is really big to me. Like, people who have literally had my back above all. Like, I remember one incident in college. Like, one of my very closest friends, she lives in Florida. I had a situation. This was actually right after college. I moved into my first apartment in Brooklyn. This was in Bed-Stuy. And I was living with this girl who I thought was my really close friend. And we had been friends all 4 years of college. And so it was like only natural that we would move in together after college. And when I tell you, her true colors came out when we lived together, to the point where our situation ended so badly. What really tipped it over the edge is, while I was living with her, my brother, who I'm also really close to both of my siblings, but my brother, who is the closest in age to me, went through a situation with his school where he basically got kicked out of school because he ran out of money, essentially. And he didn't have anywhere to go because he had to leave the dorms. So you're trying to tell me that my brother doesn't have anywhere to go? This is going to make me really upset. My brother doesn't have anywhere to go, and I obviously take him in because that is my brother. And you have the nerve to be upset and to ask me, oh, when is he going to leave? Like, what is he going to do? He can't stay here. Bitch, you wish. You wish he couldn't stay here. He is staying here. No, like I have never been so enraged. And that was like the last straw, and we weren't friends after that. And the girl who I'm talking about, who I'm really close with to this day, who lives in Florida now, Ananda, shout out to you if you're watching. She literally, when I called her crying, she literally was like, and she lived like deep in Brooklyn, y'all. Like Brooklyn is very big. She lived like closer to Coney Island, and I lived like closer to Manhattan. She jumped on that train so quick. She was like, "Oh hell, fucking no! She's getting dragged today."
I stand for that. Listen,
she was like, "I'm sorry." She said, "What? I'm coming over. She's gonna hear from me." I was like,
I respect that on a personal level.
She was like, "That's your family. Like, who the fuck does she think she is?" She was like, And I hate to say, like, this friend that I had that did this to me, that was my roommate, I hate to say that she showed like her white privilege true colors, because I don't want to make it about that. But now that I look back, I see so many microaggressions in our friendship, and I see so many racial issues. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't see it back then, because I was the type of person that just took people at, what they showed me. And I didn't really, like, I wasn't educated enough to see the nuances in some of the things that she said, and some of the things that her family would say to me, like that was mad racist. It was crazy. But Ananda was like, "Oh no, no, ma'am." And I remember that to this day. And that's why, like, obviously there are a lot more reasons why we've remained friends, but she had my back to the fullest, and she always has. She's always supported me. Like, she supports the book club. Like, she's literally bought like copies of our book that we're reading.
Yep.
For people. Like, she bought herself a copy. She bought her singing teacher a copy. She bought her cousin a copy. Like, she's extremely supportive. And so as the years have gone on, she continues to prove herself. She's always showing her loyalty and how much she supports everything that I do. Like, same thing with another one of my good friends, Bianca. Like, she's always posting and reposting my stuff. She's always like, "Go follow my friend. Like, my friend is doing great things." Like, that is like, you can't buy that type of loyalty.
That's actually a very good point. This is funny. So I've met friends through two different things. Obviously, I'm a part of a nerd group here in Houston, and I know some of them might be watching because they are also that kind of supportive. Let me tell you, Houston was miserable for me when I first moved here. For the first 3 years, I was pretty much alone, like all the time. The only interactions I got were the clear people at work, and obviously that was not positive. But one of my friends came into town, and he introduced me to this one girl, and I ended up going to her house for a barbecue, and I met these 3 people that were in the nerd group, and literally we have a close-knit relationship 3 years later. And mind you, when I say close-knit, I mean, it did not start off that way. At first, I thought they were all a bunch of weirdos, and I didn't think I was going to be around them for too much longer. But after, like, I think it was like the first year, I was like, these people are weird, but they're like genuine. And this is great. So I have that. But obviously, I have met some amazing book-related friends, because obviously Oshale started this, and I would have never met Troy, which is wild to me because I can't really imagine not knowing Troy, because we're basically the same person.
Y'all are literally the same individual.
And live 10 minutes away from each other.
We will never understand that. Don't worry about that. We're fine. But also, I met people at BookNet Fest as well that are proving to be very nice people. However, we just need to set the record straight, because I don't need this chat coming back up later. I never put Ghost in a headlock. Ever.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in the chat, he told people, like, apparently this girl in the green dress was like, apparently that was how I got his number. That's not how that happened. Don't let the lies shake y'all.
Oh, I'm reading it now.
Like, that's not true. But, like, shout out to the fact that, like, I met Jerry at BookNet Fest. I met Amber at BookNet Fest, who is another person that I thoroughly enjoy our petty tweets. Justin, who still be lying, but it's cool. But without Jerry, I wouldn't have met like Musical Tati. I wouldn't have met Noria. Like, I'm building connections with people, but it's the funniest, it's the funniest thing, because like I really never imagined that I would be meeting other Black people who were obsessed with reading like me, because y'all are the only people that I can legit sit here for like a good hour and a half and gush about a book. Everybody else would have lost interest within the first 10 minutes unless I was mentioning something naked or dragon related.
Oh my gosh.
So
I can't speak on this topic. I can't though, because other than you guys, all of my friends I've known since I was like a kid.
Mm.
Like
oh,
every single one of them. I've all my friends are either I've like my best friend of all time, like I've known her since I was 8, and then my other 2 best friends I've known since I was like a kid in middle school. So other than you 2, which is Oshile, is the reason, and I can't speak on that. Y'all know I'm not social. I don't like meeting.
She's like, I don't like nobody. No, but
Troy tells no lies.
I will say though that it is very, very hard to make friends the older you get, because if you think about it, most people make their friends in school.
Mhm.
If you go to college, that's where you make your friends. And then another big place that people make friends, which I've never really fully understood this. I've only been able to really make like 2 really good friends from a job, is work. Like some people make their friends at work. I am that type of person where I like to separate my personal life from my work life. So I don't really like making friends at work. Like it takes me a long time to open up to people at work. And even then I don't open up that much
I work
because
with a bunch of old white men. I ain't making friends with them.
yeah, I still believe
Sorry.
in like when you're at work, you're professional. I guess you can have like work friends, and like people have like work wives and work husbands and things like that, which interesting. But I'm always very kind of like standoffish at work. Like I do keep people at a distance at work because I don't know you. And I have to like take my time to get to know you. I like to watch things until I feel like I have a good handle of what's going on, and then I let my guard down. But I have made some friends from work who I still am friends with to this day. My best friend I met at a job in 2010 in New York when we worked at a bowling alley together. And we're still friends to this day, and her son is my godson. So it's rare for me personally, but it does happen. But I've heard too many horror stories of people being like, oh, I met this person at work. I thought we were cool. I told them this, and then the next day it was all over the office, or it was all over, like everybody knew. Or, just weird stuff where people get stabbed in the back from friends from work, or just like shady things happen, or they're telling their business to other coworkers, or just stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm very kind of.
I can't speak on being friends with people, like meeting people in my adulthood, but I will say almost all of my friendships have never started by me approaching people, because I'm not that type of person. Always, I'm not joking. One of my best friends who I go do all the traveling with and stuff. I hope she's listening, because she's gonna crack up, because she knows this story. Literally, the only reason we became friends is because in like junior year, we were in our little group of friends, and she was like, "Does anyone have theater?" And I remember looking at my schedule and realizing I had theater with her, and I was just like, "Oh my god, no!" And
Oh my gosh.
did not. I was just like, oh, I have theater. And so she was like, oh, great, let's go. And I was just like, okay. And I'm not joking. Literally, we only became friends because I don't know. Our teacher sat us, our names were right behind each other. So hers was Reyes and mine is Taylor. So we were one behind the other. And so she would just I'm not joking, every period of theater, she would just talk. It would be like a whole hour and a half of just her talking to me. And I'd be sitting there like, okay, well, it's either listen to her talk for 20, 30 minutes or I'm going to be alone. So I guess literally that's how all my friendships start. Every single one. And it's funny, about 2 years ago, she asked me what my first impression of her was. And I was just like an honest first impression. And she was just like, yeah, what was your honest first impression? I was like, oh, I thought you were a bitch.
Oh my god.
She started cracking because I thought we talked to each other. And she was like, I didn't think you were. I'm like, you're a liar. The whole group thought I was a bitch. And she was just like, okay, yeah, the whole group kind of did think you were one, but it's only because you're so quiet. And a lot of people think that because I'm so quiet, I'm just a jerk. And I'm have this bougie feel to me. But that's how all my friendships start out. My friend who I've known since I was in middle school, she literally saw me in the gym one day, and we were going into the gym, and she was like, oh my god, are you Jamil's sister? And I was just like, yeah, I'm Josh's sister. And then we became friends. Like every single one of them are just people like coming up to me and like screaming something in my face. I honestly think it's really funny that people just see me and they're like, she's so quiet, or like I could be sitting alone at a picnic table and people would come up to me and be like, hey, do you want to sit with us? And I was like, well, I was kind of fine by myself, but I mean, I guess, sure. I mean, all of my friendships are off like that. Like every single one of them. And then they meet me and they're just like, Troy's actually really talkative. Like, this is so weird. It's like you meet her and she's mute, and then you get to know her and she talks a mile a minute.
You know what's hilarious? She didn't even want to be a part of this book club. So this is
she took a minute to respond to me. I was like, okay.
It took me like 2 to 3 days to respond to Ocean.
I was like,
because when she approached me under one of my videos, I responded in like 30 minutes. But in the email, I took like 3 days.
Basically.
I was like, do I really, really want to talk to people and give them my number and have
my God.
About my life? This is a lie.
I can't believe that you really weren't going to give us your number. No, I'm joking.
Well, technically, y'all don't have my number. Y'all have my email.
I mean, we have your number. We just never use it.
Yeah, because I don't have the iPhone anymore.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking funny when you think about it. It's just like, no.
And sometimes
I have a facade where I pretend like I'm super extroverted, but I crash really hard.
Yeah, girl, you are a faker.
Yeah, I'm extroverted.
You fake really good, though. But I would just like to say that sometimes when it comes to making friends as an adult, sometimes some things are just fate or serendipitous, because like you just have to follow your gut and your instincts about people and give it time. But just to wrap up this little section, I want to ask one last question before we move on to the book portion, is why do y'all think it's so hard for female identified people, for women to be friends with one another? And
oh my God, can I quote it?
Wait, hold on. As an offshoot of that, why do you think that Black women have so much trouble befriending other Black women?
Let's see. Or I can never say her first name correctly. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Thank you. She said it best. She said it best because, obviously I love her and I love reading her feminist writings. Women are taught to be competitors. We're at that age where like we're supposed to be quote unquote meeting our mate and being like the viable option to bear some man's child and all this stuff. So we're never taught to be collaborative. We're always taught that the woman next to us is a competitor. So subconsciously, a lot of us still operate like that. I don't, because I need girlfriends because, living single, girlfriends, etc., told me that is the best relationship to have. But that is a thing that we subconsciously always view. We're constantly looking at each other and going like, what does she have that I don't? Like, what do I have that's better than hers? Also, there's this idea, I'm gonna say this is gonna be savage. It's fine. There are a lot of girls that are adults now that clearly weren't popular when they were younger, and now that they got a little bit of attention, they don't know how to fucking act. So it also plays into this situation where they just need to be knocked back down to their actual size. But instead of knocking them back down to their actual size, they just follow them and kiki with them until they crash and burn. And then they'll be like, oh my God, this person did this to me secretly. Here's a screenshot. Sorry. I need to get that out my spirit.
Oh my God. Okay. I feel like there's like a bunch of different reasons because like it's funny. I always like look at my brother's friendships with their friends and how vastly different they are with me and my friends, or my sister and their friends. And I think a lot of it has to do with like boys are so like, okay, this happened, drop it, move on, and they won't apologize. And then like girls are kind of just like, no, we need to sit down and like figure out every aspect of what happened, of how this went, and and I think that's a good thing and a bad thing, but I feel like a lot of times we can tend to hold on to things that just don't need to be held on to. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? If we're not gonna be friends, we're not gonna be friends, drop it. I want to deal with all the drama. But I feel like because, like Brittany said, we are told so much that, like, oh, this girl, you're in competition with this girl. You know, like the next girl has to be your competition. If she has something, you need to envy it. You need to want it. Like, and you may not even want what she has, you know, but you're still told kind of like, oh, but if she has this, it's better than yours. You should want to achieve that too. If
Or
you
she's doing better
have
than
no
you.
interest in it.
Yeah.
And it's like really sad because like I know like, and especially when I was young, because y'all know I went to both black and white schools. So my young years I went to black schools, but then as I got older I went to white schools. And I really did feel like when I was at my white schools, I was exhausted with my friends a lot more than I was when I was around my black friends. And not because necessarily that they were microaggressions, but just because of the whole difference of childhoods. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll have my non-black POC friends, and I'll have to explain something to them. I'm like, I don't feel like explaining this. And sometimes, you know, people get offended, and I'm just like, I'm not meaning nothing by it, but sometimes I don't want to explain this.
Yeah.
I am not Google. I don't want to explain every single subject of anything. And sometimes it was just easier to go to my black friends and be like, this happened. And there was like also like a safe space within that friendship. My best friend Ty, who I'm sure is listening, so hey. But it was like the three of us growing up, me, her, and another girl, and it was like I felt so much more seen, I guess,
Yeah.
than I did with my non-black friends. And it wasn't anything wrong that they did, but I found that I think my dad always tells me, he's like, that he believed that I didn't drop that. I stopped being friends with every single one of my friends minus Ty, because there was so much of a closeness, like a sisterhood, that I do not share with any of my other friends. Like, period. And that's not anything bad about them, but just our friendship and growing together. And like literally this girl was in my house every single day. But you know, it's like such a different feel to have like a friend. And that goes, I'm sure, for any race of people. I'm sure there are probably Latinx people that are just like, you know, it's easier to talk to a Latinx person about this because they understand it, rather than talking to somebody who you have to explain stuff to. Because I constantly felt like when I was in my white schools, I was explaining stuff. And I was like, this is exhausting. I don't want to explain this to every single person. Okay. Like, I don't want to have to explain why I didn't like what you just said to me, because that was low key a microaggression, you know, like it's like, and and I still have that problem today sometimes with some of my non-black POC friends, where I'm just like, I don't think you realize how microaggressive that statement was. And a lot of them really don't. A lot of them are so like,
They don't.
It's so ingrained into them. Like, I have a friend whose parent calls only when she hangs out with me to date. Only me.
What?
And will say something in Spanish, and I hear my name, and I know basic Spanish, and I'll hear what he says, basically telling her when she's coming home. And I'm just like, yo, this is exhausting. Like, you know, and I think that's a really important thing, especially for you to have somebody who understands what you're going through in those senses as well. Like, you know, as just as much as you want someone to have, like, you know, Brittany's nerdy and me and her have that in common, but even more so than that, I feel like our group chat, like, it's a safe space for the three of us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I know that if I go into the group chat, that I don't need to feel like, oh, someone's going to black card me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you're using race too much.
Yes.
And so that's why I always say that, like, a lot of my closest friendships are with Black women, because it's just a different feel to it. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's a place of safety. It's a sense of home. I do feel that, like, when it comes to befriending women who are not Black, it's always a tightrope of a walk, because you always hold a piece of yourself back, because this is going to be really sad, but this is just honest. You're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're always waiting for them to say something that is going to be problematic. You're always waiting for that moment when you're just like, oh no. And it sucks and it's sad, and it sucks to say that, because I do have friends who are not Black that I'm close to. And it's been through like years of them meeting me halfway, having open lines of communication, showing up. that I've been able to let down my guard even a little bit. But even when some things happen, like I remember in 2016 when everything first happened with the police brutality being exposed in terms of in the media, and Black Lives Matter really came out as a strong voice against these atrocities. I remember I was like kind of walking on edge with some of my white friends and non-Black friends, because I'm just like, oh no, like, how is this going to go? So it's like everything is cool until something rocks the boat or until something is said. And then it's kind of like you kind of have to realign yourselves with them. It's either that friendship is going to grow even stronger because they're willing to hear you, they're willing to have your back, they're willing to be an ally, they're willing to educate themselves, so you're not educating them, or they're willing to not understand. They want to write Blue Lives Matter, they want to write All Lives Matter, and then that friendship is over. So it's it's always cool till it's not cool, right? Especially when you have those non-Black friends who are very cool with Black culture. They want to wear the hairstyles. They grew up listening to rap music, hip hop music. They date Black men. They have the nails. They have the hoops. They have the Black aesthetic. They just love it so much. But when things get real, how much do they really love Black people? So there's always that weird tension there. And then I feel like when it comes to being friends with, because my closest friends are actually like biracial and mixed, which is very interesting. With the exception of like, y'all. But my closest friends are like biracial and mixed. And that's why it's a very interesting perspective, because they've had a different Black experience, obviously. And so we're able to talk about different things like colorism, and we're able to talk about, like my one friend was like, I've always loved dark-skinned men, and now I'm starting to realize it was because they were colorist and they like treated me really well and they put me on this pedestal. And she was like, I had to think about that, and it's just, we always have these really interesting conversations, and they're able to like see my side as a dark-skinned Black woman and being of Nigerian descent. And I'm able to hear their side of being mixed and growing up in the Black community or growing up in a Black family where they were the lightest one, or my one friend, Bianca, like having a Black grandmother and her purposefully marrying light skin because she was trying to whiten her offspring because she experienced colorism. Yes. She was traumatized by the colorism she experienced, that she was like, I don't want my kids and my grandkids to go through this. So I'm going to purposefully whiten my genetics so that my offspring can have, like, it's crazy. And just like having all these different, it only enriches me, and it only shows me like different perspectives. And then it's also nice to have close friends who are dark-skinned Black women, because we can relate. And like Troy said, there's just certain things that doesn't really have to be explained, or, it's like, so there's always, I feel like with Black female friendships, there's always a sense of home. There's a sense of security. There's a camaraderie just in being Black women in this world. But I also feel like there's so much complexities involved because of the things that Black women have to deal with, so we not only do we have to deal with racism and prejudice, we also have to deal with misogyny and sexism. On top of that, we also have to deal with colorism within our communities, even within our own families sometimes. There's so many different things that we have to deal with that it's, for me, I can understand why some Black women struggle with befriending other Black women, because you have to be able to fight and decolonize yourself, because we are set up to, not only are we set up to compete as women, but we're also set up to like hate ourselves. Yep. And so you have to be able to be in a place of where you're able to decolonize your own mind and get and recognize the white supremacy in like yourself and how you have been conditioned to think, in order for you to truly understand that a Black woman is your comrade and should be your sister in arms, and is not like, there's a lot of fighting to be like the token Black person in so many industries for women, because there's so much competition. And I see that all the time, even just on BookTube or on YouTube or things like that, certain things that people say, certain tweets. I mean, I see everything. I may not say things, but I see it. And it's just like, once again, you're playing into their hands of divide and conquer. Once again, you're fighting against your people because you want to be the chosen one. Once again, like it's interesting, But I feel like we are almost set up to have infighting amongst each other, and you have to get to a place where not only do you love yourself, but you're able to see the value in having Black women in your circle in order to have successful relationships with other Black women.
Yeah, honestly, get you a Black friend.
In short,
in short, it's you have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, the intimacy that you're craving will never be satisfied, because you've never given yourself that opportunity to share with yourself that intimate connection. If you're never connecting with yourself, you're never going to make friends. You are going to continually have associates and acquaintances who are there for a temporary time and then drop you like hot grits. And then you'll be left there wondering why you feel so empty inside. So love yourself. If you do have insecure moments, acknowledge your insecurities, but don't live in your insecurities. Then maybe you can make some friends. So now we're on to the fun part.
Yay, let's talk about the book
that we love.
All right. So let's start from a place of positivity. So let's talk about some of the books that we really loved that had great depictions of friendship.
I have so many.
Oh, this is good. I'm excited.
First one, Stars and the Blackness Between Them.
Yes.
Listen, that high school experience with them close girlfriends, like your homies, your A1s, your day ones. Clap When You Land.
Yeah.
The Shadow of the Fox series. Amber, you and I are on the same spot. Amber just said the same thing in the chat. Man, okay. This is basically how I describe like amazing friendships. Amazing friendships in books make me like, you know how like you get that like that twinkle feeling in your stomach, like when you're reading about their interactions and you get like really excited when they're interacting, or like if they die, you feel like emotionally distraught that the friendship is gone. Like that's those three are the most recent 3 books with friendship. It's like, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Like,
right.
And specifically Clap When You Land and Stars and the Blackness Between Us. Those were Black female friendships. And they were beautiful. Like, your homegirl is sick, you put her in a car and take her on a trip. What? This is great. Like, ugh.
I agree with those. I would like to add a Song Below Water to that.
Ooh, I haven't finished that one yet.
I want to add the Love Sisters series by Christina C. Jones.
Yes. Oh my God.
I love their sisterhood so much.
Oh, you know what this reminds me of? Even though I have like a serious bone to pick with the books. What? The sister relationship in the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert.
I love it.
I agree.
I don't like the premise of the stories, but I love the sister relationship. That is a legit sister relationship. How invasive they are, how rude they are, and then how quickly they go back to like, we could totally kill him. Just let us know. Like that is a real sister relationship. Like
coming into your house uninvited.
Right, strolling in like, oh, you're busy? No, you're not. My sisters do that to me all the time. They will FaceTime me and be like, are you busy? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, good, you're not. I'm like,
wow.
Like, you're never too busy for me.
I told them I had to get off the phone to get on this live, and they were like, why? It's like, okay, sisters, thanks. I'm trying to think, what are some other good...
I always think about the first books that really made me see the importance of female relationships and friendships. And for me, the very first books were probably, honestly, The Babysitter's Club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it kind of showed me, like, I need this. Because I was very young when I read them. And it really just solidified in my mind, like, the importance of female friends and those close bonds in your life.
That's true.
Yep.
Dang. Forgot all about. Well, also, like, if you think about it, like, there are certain cartoons that were based off of, like, quote unquote girl power. Also, the Spice Girls, probably should shout that out, because I really wasn't screaming about girl power or anything until they came around. And then, like, that was literally like that was at the point where I actually called my dad sexist at one point. Yeah. That was not a great day.
That's crazy.
Let me see. The comments say, now that I found you, had really nice friendships in it. The friendships in Witchland.
Also, another book from when I was younger, and still my favorite book, arguably, is Little Women.
Ooh,
now that I think back, I realize that Little Women was the book that made me gravitate towards befriending other girls, because I was the only girl in my family. I had brothers, and so reading Little Women made me like daydream about what life would be like if I had sisters. And then it made me like, because I was always the aggressor, in the sense that I was always going up to people and being like one of my earliest memories was being in preschool and walking up to this really shy, quiet girl. So I troyed her. I did. I walked up to this really shy, quiet girl. I was like, oh, she's so pretty, but she's so quiet all the time. Like, I'm like 4 years old. I walk up to her and I was like, I introduced myself. I'm like, hi, my name's so-and-so. What's your name? She told me her name. I was like, okay, you want to be friends? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, want to be best friends? And she was just like,
okay, want to be best friends?
And she was like, okay. And I was like, okay, we're best friends now. And from that day on, that was literally my best friend up until, because I was back in Nigeria. That was my best friend until we moved to America. And even to this day, we're still in communication with one another.
That's really cute.
That is
so I was always that girl. Like, even in middle school, like, I would go up to somebody and be like, hi, what's your name? Okay. Want to be friends?
You know what book was like one of my first like friendship related books when I was young? And it's not two girlfriends, but it's a boy and a girl, and I'm still traumatized.
What?
Which ones?
Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Why did you do that? Why did you bring that book up? Oh my God.
I'm still so traumatized.
That book broke me, like broke.
And the fact that it's like based on the death of her son's best friend.
Oh my God. I'm dead. I don't want to talk about
that book. We also have to talk about the movie My Girl.
I've actually never watched that.
We're just going really sad today.
What do you mean you never watched that movie?
I am reclaiming my time in this conversation. I'm going to talk about Nettie. Nettie and Tochi are two authors. Obviously, y'all knew I was going to talk about Tochi. If you were shocked, you really ain't been here. Nettie, I just finished Who Fears Death. Fantastic girl bonded friendships. Fantastic. I was genuinely freaking hurt in that book. I was like, why would you do this? Why? Why would you take that? Why would you do this? Let me see. The Benti series. The Akasa Witch series, Rebel Sisters. Shoot, there's this like I love Black relationships when they're written by Black people, because they feel very genuine. Like
they do.
They don't feel like they're black-faced. They feel very, very genuine. So it's just like,
ooh, the friendship in Opposite of Always.
Oh yes.
I
forgot about Justin A. Reynolds. That was actually, I loved the dynamic in that friendship, because they weren't all Black. They were just really good friends.
They were.
Oh, that also reminds me, the Blade So Black series. The main character and her homegirl was a ride or die homegirl, except for when Alice's mother got the Black mother mode on and she was terrified, rightly so, but like ride or die.
Also, can we talk about freaking Lord of the Rings and how Gingy wrote?
I can't believe are we going there today? Because listen, I've got time.
I recently read the first Lord of the Rings book. So good. I highly recommend the audiobook. But I just remember watching the films. They're some of my favorite films. And I appreciate it when the films first came out when I was in high school. but I watched the movies recently during quarantine, and I was literally moved to tears by that friendship. I was like, this is the true story here. This is what we need to be focusing on with this series. Like, I mean, great, we're gonna save Middle Earth. That's wonderful.
Everybody needs a Sam in their life. If you don't have one,
we're in high school when the movies came out.
Yes, girl.
When did that? I don't even remember.
I was 6, so
there you go.
Troy, why do you do this? I know I was older than that.
I was just gonna say I don't remember much of the Lord of the Rings, to be honest.
Oh my gosh.
I watched them.
Hold on. We need to figure it out. When did the Lord of the Rings first? Man, you are not about to do this to us. Over here,
I was like 6 or 7. I don't.
Lord of the Rings. The first Lord of the Rings was Fellowship of the Rings, I think, and that came out in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was about 6 or 7.
Oh my gosh.
I was in high school. Troy was a zygote.
I'm right.
I was like learning how to read, barely.
Oh my gosh.
I can read words.
I don't appreciate this. Stop.
Look, Troy.
But you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny though? I love to pretend that I am like way older than I am.
You don't have to pretend, girl. It comes naturally to you. I always forget.
It's okay.
Tati feels even older. She was like, I was in college.
Look, I propose that we do one of those really annoying things where people watch movies on like Zoom or something, and we need to watch The Lord of the Rings because I'm still in shock that you don't remember those movies.
So I'm gonna be very honest.
I remember some of the later movies.
I've only made it through Lord of the Rings once. Anytime I try to rewatch it, I fall asleep.
Are you for real? Okay, yeah, we're doing this.
My mom, she could have burst me.
Loves the Lord of the Rings series. And Jerry.
No,
this is the best comment of the night. The best comment of the night.
This is going on a shirt. This has to go on a shirt.
I honestly don't know how I feel about everyone thinking I'm older than I am.
Well, I told you that maturity is not based on age, but about
like I said in the last live, as long as you're basing it on my attitude and not on the way I look, I am now.
Well, remember, I look like I'm still barely 21 when unless I put on a full face of makeup, I get carded for buying glue still. So
and I got carded the last time I was in New York, and I was like, the security man was like, what in the heck? Because I was like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Oh, really? No, I get excited when they don't ask me for my ID. I'd be like, you don't need it?
I'd be offended. Someone carded my dad a few years ago, and he was like, what? He's like, we have to card anybody under 40. And my dad was like, oh, you getting a big tip. He ain't nowhere near under 40.
It's been multiple times that I've gone to bars, and like they would not let me in because they just knew I had a fake ID.
I cannot.
And you know my name is
older. I would be happy about this, but nah, I'm not.
On my ID, they're immediately like, "Oh, this is fake," and I'm just like, "Baby, it is not fake." Okay, I get it. My name
house. They either ask me if my husband's around or if my father's around. It depends on how I look when I enter the door.
Oh my God.
So wait, do I have to sit through Lord of the Rings?
I'm not sitting through it. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I will be asleep.
They're so long. I remember the last movie slightly.
I honestly don't have words for y'all, because if you don't want to partake in the complete mastery and brilliance that is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I ain't got none for you. You know what?
Okay, wait. I have one more question. If now we are specifically talking about female identifying relationships. And we will include non-binary as well, because that is something that we need more of in the storyline. Books that should be turned into movies with these friendships.
Okay.
I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Say it again, I couldn't hear.
Huh?
Say it one more time, I didn't hear.
So we want to focus on relationships with female identifying persons and non-binary, because we want all of that in our movie world. Books with these types of friendships into movies. Which books?
I'm gonna say that I would love to see The Stars and the Blackness Between Them as a film.
Oh no, that would be more bawling. Oh my god.
Wait, I have an amendment to that. I swear to sweet Lord above, if they reach out to Amandala
Woo!
or the other little girl, what's her name from Black?
What is her
Yara Shahidi.
Let me tell
listen.
y'all right now, if y'all include any one of those two women, I'm not gonna be happy.
If you don't include these dark-skinned daddies who meditate and garden, I will also throw a fit.
Y'all need to be specific too, because they'll give you a dark-skinned parent, dark-skinned siblings, and one hella light-ass kid.
There is no light. We do not need the light washed version of this story. I need them all chocolate.
I'm just saying.
Oh, you're right. I would totally be like, I don't even want y'all to do this movie no more. I'm good. So right.
Rights revoked.
Representation is important because as Black people, we can recognize our, Blackness is so, what am I trying to say? Blackness is not a monolith, and we can definitely recognize one another in all of our different complexities, shades, and everything. So it is very puzzling when you have an all Black family, but the daughter is biracial. I mean, we're all confused. So I'm like, there's got to be other actresses out there.
Sorry. Comment threw me off.
Well, if you have a biracial family, it's like, okay, but you have an all Black family with a biracial daughter. I'm just like, what's really going on? Like, other people, non-Black people don't see a problem with it because they can't really tell like that, but we can. So if you're going to make something for us, representation is important and everyone needs to be represented appropriately. That's all. And I'm just tired of seeing those two actresses in movies because I feel like whenever there is a young adult novel being turned into a film about a Black girl, those are the two actresses that they call. And I'm just like, there's nobody else that y'all could reach out to?
Sorry. My sister, they felt like my time is up. Thank them for proving my point here. Thank them. Ooh, you know what I would like to see, but I would like to see it as an anime because we need more Black anime. Obviously, Rebel Sisters needs to be an anime, but also Shadow of the Fox series needs to be an anime. Those are the two that I don't want like a live action version of their movies. I want animated, anime inspired. I want like an anime soundtrack and everything with those two. Like when on Rebel Sisters, when they're fighting in the mechs, I need that to be like this epic anime scene with crazy animation and like a beautiful soundtrack as like the robot is like crashing into the ground to their death. Like, and then the Fox, listen, everybody talks about how like the first book of the Shadow of the Fox is like boring, whatever. I keep telling y'all push through it because the final book is literally like, for those who watch anime, you know that it could be like a 26 episode season, and I put quotes around season because that's an American thing. Literally could be a 26 episode season, and like the first 6 episodes are like boring, don't really care, just wasting time, whatever.
There's like a random festival thrown in there.
You're just like on the edge of your seat, like screaming. That's basically what the last book of the Shadow of the Fox is. And what I need for that is I need an entire soundtrack devoted to that anime. And I need the first 2 books to be at least 2 full seasons, like 30 episodes each, with the animator from the Demon Slayer series. Ooh. That's pretty much what I need from that, because the visual that I get from that book, from that book series, is just everything. And I'm just like, ooh. And Jerry did a good one, the Black God's Drum. I haven't finished reading it. That would be dope.
That would be dope.
Dread Nation. See, I feel like they would turn Dread Nation into like, you know, those zombie movies that are like comedy. Like I feel like that's where they would take Dread Nation, and I would be mad.
The nuances and complexities would not be in there.
Yeah. Oh, the 5th season, and you know what? The 5th season in anime style, that would be beautiful. See, it's a couple of books that I just feel like we don't even need live action versions. I know we have CGI and da-da-da-da-da, but if they're animated, then there's nothing stopping us from getting it with the same like beautiful visuals as like I am making my demands specific because anytime
Justin has to come in and just
right, we end up with stuff with like Netflix taking Avatar and trying to make it quote unquote edgy and sexy.
Oh God.
That's why I won't be watching Avatar on Netflix, by the way. Like
some things don't even need live actions.
Netflix. Huh?
I said some things don't even need live actions.
I'm just mad that they want to make it quote unquote edgy and sexy. I was like, they're 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds with daddy issues, murder, and like a grown man trying to kill them. I just want to know how much more edgy you need to get there. And like, there was no sex in the series. Why are you putting sex in it? We didn't ask for that.
We didn't.
And also I heard that they're trying to introduce white women into the series. And I'm like, did y'all not learn from the movie that like we were all ridiculously angry that they whitewashed it? But I guess, they're not gonna learn. I'm not watching.
I think there's this idea that there has to be some whiteness in it or it's not going to be successful. I really do feel like these movie studios and producers have these feelings and thoughts, which I don't know how they could, because whenever they stay true to something, like with Black Panther, Black Panther, they don't have, like, people come out and support. So I don't understand why they don't think they can just stay true to what the essence of something is, and people won't enjoy it and come out and support it. Like, they will.
When I literally found out that M. Night Shyamalan was going to be the director of Avatar, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is
that's when you knew.
I specifically remember sitting in the theater with my brother and his best friend, who is basically my brother. And it starts off at the beginning, and we're like, that's Katara and Sokka? Okay, this is weird. Why are they talking like that? Okay. And then, I was like, I'm done. I literally got up and left the theater. I was like, my brother was like, we already paid. We're like, but why? Why did we pay for this? We already won. Who the heck is on? There's a whole series with animated voices that said his name. How are you out here saying his name wrong? Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
It was just, oh. Also, I need to say this. If Scarlett Johansson is anywhere near the Avatar series, I might delete my entire Netflix account. She already ruined Ghost in the Shell. She does not get to do that to another one.
Oh, Lord.
I think she just keeps accepting these roles, too.
That's the problem. It's like the fact that, oh my God, before I know that this has nothing to do with friendships, but can we talk about Zoe Saldana?
I know you were going to say that.
Because like that reminded me that y'all saw that video where she's like crying and apologizing that she took the role, what could have been for a Black woman, but like she already collected the check.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm so sorry.
It came off disingenuous because when she was picked to play Nina Simone and people were up in arms because they were like, the fact that you literally have to darken your skin, wear a prosthetic nose, wear a hairpiece that is not your hair texture, all just to play a role, like it doesn't sit well with us and we're not okay. Like they need to pick somebody that actually looks like Nina Simone that doesn't have to go through all of these physical gymnastics to play the role. And the movie was basically boycotted and it tanked. Like no one really wants to see it. The fact that she was well aware of the issues at that time and she ignored it, I believe her response was, well, I'm an actress. That's what we do. We transform. We to play the role. And we're saying, you know what? In theory, in a perfect world, yes, you're right. But in a world where we already have to deal with Black women being erased from our own spaces, with colorism, with all these things, there's a lot of nuances to what you're doing, and it's not okay. You need to decline this. And she didn't. And she stood in her shoe. And she was like, nope. Now you're going to come during everything that's going on, the fact that we're having a movement, we're having a great awakening. People are really coming to terms with their own
your Blackness.
With their Blackness. Now you want to cry on Instagram, and now you want to say you should have never done it. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it.
I'm not even apologizing anymore. Like, stop being a twat. We know you collected that check. Like we don't like you. We acknowledge that the only role that I like you in is Guardians of the Galaxy. Stay there, because if you go anywhere else, I'm not watching. You can't act. You don't sing, and half the time you aren't even black. You have said many times you are not black. So don't come to us now thinking that you need to. We don't support you. You never supported us.
I just don't understand how you can put on all those prosthetics and not think there's something wrong with the fact that they chose you to put on all of these prosthetics.
That's the part.
Black people that could have been in the movie. Like, it does not make any sense to me.
I could go through as much makeup time as she did to go green as she did to go black. Let that sit in.
Wow. my problem is that she is black when it's convenient. So in the 90s, when she was in Center Stage, when she was in all these movies, you know, when she was interviewed, when she was asked, you know, even though she was playing black, but when she was asked, like, no, like, I'm not black, I'm Dominican, I'm Dominicana, I'm not black, which Dominican is a nationality. So, honey,
right.
You need a history lesson, but that's besides the point. But it's like, okay, so you are completely denying your black ancestry and you just want to claim your nationality. So you have anti-blackness within you. Cool. But then you want to play black in movies. Then you want to be black when it's convenient. Like, we have peeped this for decades now. It's been decades, okay? It's been decades. At this point, you can keep your apology, because this is not, I guess she's trying to revive her career. It's very obvious.
I mean, what else does she have after Guardians? Because we're good, love, enjoy.
I cannot. Yeah, I can't with actors like that. Like,
I just need to think. I forgot all about that, and you just reminded me of that. I'm like, you know what? I really can't stand, like, I don't understand why when people say, "Oh, you're black," and you go, "No, insert my nationality."
It makes no sense.
As if you can't be a black Dominican.
Yeah. Like, I remember I faced that a lot when I lived in New York. Like, I would have conversations with girls who literally looked just like me, similar complexion, 4C grade hair, you know, wider nose, bigger lips. And I'd be like, oh, okay, you're black. Like, no, I'm Puerto Rican. And I'll be like, okay. Or like, I'm Dominican. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. And
it's like, I'm not denying that you're Dominican at all.
And why do I get the opposite of that? Why do people always want to, like, force upon me?
Can we talk about that since we're here? Let's talk about this crazy need to identify our homie Troy Nicole as anything other than black to justify her beauty.
Yes.
That's so insulting. I'm just a light skin.
It's wild. She has gotten so many messages, because we see the screenshots of people assuming that she is everything but black, and then say, oh, you're so pretty, I didn't know that you were black, as if that is a separation between the two. Like, that is,
and it's always a white. It's always white. I rarely ever get anything else. People's always like, oh, I always figured, because I don't really post my parents, but I post my dad on the occasion. And they'll be like, oh, I thought your mom was white. And I'm just like, no, I have two black parents, black grandparents, black great grandparents. I just am light skin.
Yeah.
What kills me is though, really kills me is though, I could post a TBR video and that'll be the comment. What the hell does that have to do with the video?
I never understood it, because when I was looking for other black women to be in, you know, a part of the book club with me, I wanted to choose black women that were, you know, a variety of shades, so to speak. And I really liked Troy's channel, and I really liked the way she spoke and how frank she was about, you know, books and her opinions. I never, not once, did I think she wasn't black or fully black. Like,
it's only ever non-black people who think I'm not black. I had a friend a few months ago tell me, she made a comment about my mom being biracial, and I was like, what are you talking about? And she was just like, isn't your mom biracial? And I'm just like, no. And she's like, she's not. And I'm just like, I've known you for 10 years. This whole time you thought I was mixed. And she was just like, no, I thought your mom was mixed. And I was just like, okay. It's something.
And I do feel though that I do think that's interesting that when fully black people are light-skinned, people assume they have, or light-skinned, and especially light-skinned and very attractive, they feel like they have to be mixed with something else. And then I also think it's interesting the erasure of mixed people who are of darker complexion as well. It's like this weird world where if you're mixed and you have a darker skin tone and people see your parents, they're shocked. And then if you're lighter and you're fully black and people see your black parents, they're shocked. I'm just like, dang, there's just no winning here.
I'm just a giant conundrum to BookTube. They don't know if my name is real. They don't know if I mean, goddamn.
Also, another FYI, it is Troy Nicole. That is her real first name.
It is.
It's not a mistake. She's not a guy. She's actually just a light-skinned black chick with the name Troy Nicole. I just figured we should eventually talk about that one day because, like, we see the screenshots. Like,
it's so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Y'all have got, like, we have got to check that colorist mess because being black is literally an assorted chocolate box. Just because your parents is white doesn't mean that you have to be light. Ooh, that rhymes.
Yes. Mind you, me and my baby sister are the only two super light skinned. Like, we're all light skinned, but my other siblings aren't light like us.
Right.
That's the thing in black families. Like, there's a range of skin tones. Like, blackness can come in any shade. And that's just how genetics work with us. Like, I have family members that are, you know, Troy Nicole's complexion. And I have family members that are my complexion. I have family members in the middle. Even within my own siblings, we're all 3 different skin tones. We're not all the same skin tone. It's just like,
it's amazing how every other race of people can have dark skinned people and light skinned people, but and be one race. But then we have to be, you know, in order to be pretty and this, you have to be all of a sudden mixed with something. It doesn't make any sense.
We are going to have a colorism live one of these days because, I mean, let's be real. We have been addressing white people and their blatant racism and their microaggressions for the past couple of months, but it's about time we sit ourselves down and start checking our bullshit as well.
Especially in the BookTube community, because there is a lot of erasure in this community. So,
yeah, we'll be talking about that in more lives coming soon because, you know, here at Black Prose,
yes, honey,
we're blackity black in every skin tone here and there and in between.
Yes, I love it. I feel like Brittany always comes up with like our catchphrases.
No, I think really ruthless ones, but like I gotta think of a catchy title for the colorism one because I want to bring in people that don't normally watch our live so that I can also tell them that, oh my God, in Jerry, we are not going there.
I'm not touching that one. No. I'm not touching it. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Oh,
yo,
no. Flag on the plate. Flag on the plate.
Oh no! Oh no!
Every time I send y'all a voicemail, I'm like, oh my God.
We're just gonna move on, okay? Y'all trying to get us canceled before we even get on.
Yo,
we didn't even have a colorism conversation. Y'all about to get us canceled.
And Jerry was like, and I will speak my thoughts.
This is a safe space. So we will be talking about colorism and all that it encompasses.
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, my goodness.
Justin is over here. Y'all are terrible. Oh, shoot.
Well,
I love you guys so much. Y'all are like, the people that watch us are just fantastic on a level that I don't think that our book club or our podcast would thrive without you guys because
y'all just bring so much richness to every single live, every single topic. So we definitely want to do an appreciation moment right now and just tell y'all thank you for your support. And it really does make a huge, huge difference to our lives and our lives. Hey.
Hey.
I'm not as good as Brittany.
I'm way more ratchet in the chat, so I'm gonna keep it there.
Oh, but we are getting very close to our 2-hour mark. So we're just gonna wrap up this live with some announcements real quick so y'all know what we have coming up. Right now, if you guys could you wonderful people could take the opportunity to like this video, this live. It really does make a difference with YouTube algorithm, all that boring stuff. So please take a moment to like And also, we just want to let y'all know what we have coming up. So right now, for our next couple lives, we do have another Read With Me coming up on the 13th of September. So I believe that is a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, or is it a Saturday? I don't have my calendar.
Sunday.
Yes. So Sunday, September 13th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be hosting on this channel another live Read With Me. Again, our quarter book is Behold the Dreamers by Mbolo Imbu. So definitely come read with me because I believe we will be discussing the book the following live, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, right. So on the 13th, we'll be doing that, live Read With Me. And then on the 20th, the following Sunday, we'll actually be discussing the book on our live and deep diving into what we thought about it and all that good stuff. And then
we have one on the 28th of this month. We have another podcast / live on the 28th of this month. We don't know what our topic is. Sometimes our topics come to us randomly. Like this one came at a perfect time. So we'll announce the topic then.
And Gary asks, how often will y'all be doing live Read With Me? Right now, we're just testing it out like maybe once a month. We're thinking, because we have a lot of other things in the works that we will be announcing very, very soon. We're very excited. We are doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes for all y'all and to enrich this community. So stay tuned for that. So we do have a lot of things in the works, so we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. So probably once a month on a Sunday around 4 p.m. will be the Read With Me. But yes, so those are the next few events that we have coming up. We have a lot of great plans for this channel and different milestones that we're going to hit. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for the future because we have really great ideas.
I'm excited. Y'all are going to be so lit when we finally make these next, like this is going to sound weird. We actually, when we're not talking shit, we actually do a lot of planning for the book club and like this goal planning and where we want to see this whole brand go, because it has turned into a brand for us and we do take it very seriously. So I can't wait to finally get to show you guys. Like, we're working on graphics and things. We got all types of little things popping up in the next month or two, and then we'll probably die.
Right?
We're done. We'll probably
have no idea.
Come back.
We have no idea how we are going to juggle all of this with our real lives and, careers and jobs that we actually have. Yes, that was shade. But
oh my God, Jesus.
But we will figure it out because y'all are doing it. I see a lot of creators in the chat and y'all somehow figure out how to do your real lives and this as well. So we are going to try to figure it out somehow. And, it's worth it to us because I don't know, I can't speak for Brittany and Troy, but this community brings so much richness and value to my life. I appreciate it so much. So we are definitely full steam ahead. And we'll be making some announcements in the coming weeks and months that will really be exciting and, push us forward into the next chapter. I would say
also, we want to send a special shout out to Ink Floor Studios, who has an Etsy shop that y'all should go check out because she's got these tarot card bookmarks and she's making other tarot card stickers. Just the FYI.
Why do I feel like every time I don't mention that in the beginning, y'all hold grudge?
Look. You are one of those people that is so talented and so good at what you do, but you never, ever market yourself or put yourself out there. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Sorry, girl.
I'm not sorry.
I just forget sometimes.
Speaking of,
we will never forget because, like, I appreciate actual artists and people that actually have things worth supporting. I was trying not to be petty, but my bad.
We are just so shady tonight. We really need. We're so sorry, y'all. Things have been happening.
We're not sorry. Let's stop lying.
Yeah, we're not sorry. We're sorry that y'all have to witness this, but we're not sorry for what we're saying. But speaking of, Troy's shop, don't forget, Brittany has a Patreon now.
Oh yeah, see that I forget.
She definitely deserves more patrons. She puts so much hard work into her shop. You know, it's insane. Like, I've never seen someone with this type of worth ethic for something like this. Like, it's very admirable. So go support her. Go be a patron. You know, it's very affordable. Go check it out. I'll probably put the link to her Patreon in this description box so you can check it out. But I believe, let me see, I have it open. I believe, isn't it just patreon.com/melanin eclectic? Very simple, very straightforward. You know, we'd really appreciate if you support her, because when you support one of us individually, you're also supporting us as a group. So there we go.
Oh, look at us being a Black Pro sisterhood. I like it.
As for me, I will make a video on my channel one day soon.
Oh, wait. However, She Reads might not be very active on YouTube, but honey, have you checked out her Bookstagram lately?
Y'all need to go follow that right now.
Listen, I'm sure there's a new post today. You might want to go peep it, because, you know, she be out here thirst trapping.
That's the thing. I don't see these as thirst traps. I'm just like, I'm like, how are these thirst traps? But I mean, maybe the one with my butt in the viewfinder. Maybe that one.
Girl,
I don't know. I just be seeing cha-chas and booty, and I just be like, okay, girl, okay.
I be like, is that under boob, bitch? Yes.
This is
You
my
know what,
favorite
y'all, we
expression.
get two turns.
Oh my gosh. I love everything about the fact that we just uplifted each other, but I also love the comments in reference to Ashley's Bookstagram.
Tati said that's her regular.
Y'all want to know something hilarious though? Like, I take some of the pictures myself, but my roommate takes a lot of pictures.
Oh, that was a question I was going to ask. Who be taking these photos?
Sometimes my mom.
Oh my God.
Sometimes me with the timer.
Your mom takes your thirst traps? Your mom is an A1.
My mom is so supportive. She'll be like, yes, okay, angle your face like this. Okay.
Yes, I love it. That just makes your Bookstagram even better. Legit, go check it out, because I've always been like, whoever is taking her photos got her angles on lock. Like, who is doing this?
And how do I hire them?
Listen, I don't post my body, but if I had somebody to take my photos for me, y'all would see all my ass all the time.
Oh God, I can't. Okay, so any more announcements? I don't think so. Oh, subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit the notifications bell. Give us a like. We're on Instagram. Go subscribe to our Instagram at Black Pros Book Club. That's the only platform where we're actually Black Pros Book Club, so it always trips me up. So definitely go. We're going to be utilizing our Instagram a little bit more, so go follow us on there. And that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been wonderful.
Thanks,
and
guys.
We will see y'all on the 28th. That is a Friday. Yep. Topic to be announced at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Have a great evening.